What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another live session today. I wouldn't categorize this one as necessarily a workout, but we are live today. We're going to do a stretching mobility session that kind of focuses on individuals that have chronic lower back tightness, tension, or pain. All right, so I do want to say beforehand that these movements are stretching and mobility movements that can help alleviate pain or tension in that area. Is it going to cure your lower back pain if you have chronic lower back pain? Possibly not. Will it help? I would think so. But if you have an issue that's structural, you probably have to see, somebody with an orthopedic doctor to give you some more information about your issue. So these are just some stretches that might be could be used to help alleviate pain and tightness in that area. So I just wanted to kind of get out. Alright, sorry, connection issues. Hopefully you guys are still there. But I just wanted to say, like I said, if you have lower back pain, chronic lower back pain, tension, these stretches and mobility moves can help. Is it going to cure it? That kind of is, I can't guarantee that. Also, if it's something that's ongoing, you may want to see a orthopedic doctor. Alright, with all that said, let's get into it, okay? So I'm going to start with a hamstring stretch. Okay, this is what we call our three-way hamstring. Alright, a three-way hamstring stretch. So I'm going to use this band. Obviously, you don't have access to bands. You could probably do it without a band, okay? But I have access to a band. So, and I also recommend if you need some equipment for at home, bands should be in your kind of minimum amount of equipment that you have at home, okay? Especially the mini bands. This one is kind of really, you can use this for multiple things, but we primarily use this here at the gym for stretching. Alright, so the mini bands, I think you guys have seen me use before. You try to go back in our archive of our live workouts on the YouTube channel and see a mini band workout. But they're obviously, as you can imagine, smaller, but they have varying resistance. You can use them for strengthening exercises and probably even some mobility exercises too. Alright, so as you saw, I'm lifting this leg. I have a static stretch on this leg with a band on it, and I'm lifting the other leg, a little active stretching, moving from the hip. Now I'm going to move the banded leg right and left. When I focus on this, or things to focus on when I do this movement, is that my other toe is pointing to the ceiling, and really keeping my lower back locked to the ground. Okay? I'm not going side to side. I'll change the angle when I switch legs so you guys can kind of see what I mean. Stretching and mobility is just one, I think, facet of what you can do to help alleviate chronic lower back pain and tightness. Obviously, if it's structural, there's something else you can address to it, but not only something we do in the gym, or another way you can kind of work on it in the gym is not only stretch, but strengthen. Alright? Okay, let's switch legs. Yeah, sorry. Yes, I did switch legs. Sorry. So yes, so stretch and strengthen, that's kind of our approach. A lot of areas on your body that you feel are kind of lacking, whether it be shoulder, say if you have shoulder pain, stretch and strengthen. Hip pain, stretch and strengthen. Lower back, knee, ankle, calf, right? Now, as I always want to make sure, and I've already mentioned it before in this live workout, is that if it's structural, it prevents you from doing maybe stretching and mobility, or stretching and strengthening. That's something that needs to be addressed by most likely an orthopedic doctor. So, just want to keep putting it out there. This isn't the end-all be-all. It's a multifaceted issue. It kind of comes in grades or different levels. Tightness is kind of, I would just categorize using the word tightness as I wake up, I have a tight lower back. I need to stretch. Alright? Also, kind of tightness could be a sign that maybe strengthen your lower back too. But if you have shooting pains that happen on one side of your body, and you know you can't bend over to pick something up. That's something that maybe need to be more further investigated by an X-ray or an MRI. Alright, so you can see when I'm moving this banded leg, I'm not rolling side to side, right? I'm not doing that. Keeping my butt cheeks down, keep my lower back locked to the ground, keeping the opposite toe to the ceiling, moving a stretch around the back of this hamstring, back of the leg, different parts of the hamstring. Good? Alright, so three-way hamstring. Now I'm going to go into adductor stretch. Okay, so I got this leg out to the side, pushing force down, kind of forcing this knee down, even though it doesn't bend that way, forcing down to build that tension in that adductor. And I'm rocking back and forth. This is kind of appropriate for me this week. A lot of heavy workouts in during the week, lots of walks. I needed a recovery session, so brought a stretch and mobility live session for you guys. Alright, now from this position I'm going to do my reach throughs. Okay, so keep this leg out, same side arm reaches through, and then up. This is kind of the component I really feel in my back when I do it. Now the upper back, the thoracic spine is doing it's doing the movement essentially. But I feel that stretch down into my lower back, into the lumbar part of my back. Alright, switch sides, change the angle so you guys can see it from the other angle. Alright, there we go. A little tighter on the side for me. Back and forth. I typically find that males have a lot of tightness when they do this movement. You know, they can feel it real. Have a lot of tightness. Probably a bad way to describe it, but they lack the flexibility in this area, the adductor. But believe it or not, it seems the majority of clients we deal with, especially my clients that are males, they throw this move, they feel it instantly. Alright? Got a little bit more range of motion on this side of my breath, alright, but I feel like I can do a little bit more reach. Alright. One of the go-tos, kind of, I would say, for lower back stretching, mobility, up dog, down dog, child pose. Okay? Obviously, these are my versions of those three movements. This is the down dog. As I keep my heels down, push my tailbone to the sky, push my chest to the top of my thighs. Hips down, head and chest up. Alright. And then I'm going to push back the old child's pose. And I'm going to do it all again. We'll do it 3 times through. Down dog. I'll show you a couple angles so you guys can see different angles. And there'll be people that have a different definition down dog. It's okay. Up dog. I focus on trying to pull my shoulder blades down my back when I do my up dog. And then sit back for that child pose. Use my hand kind of push my butt back to my heels. One more time, please. Now go. Up dog. And the child's pose. I go wide with my knees when I do my child's pose. I mean, there's probably some benefit doing this too. It'll worry my hip flexors, but I like going wide with the knees and push my butt back further, a little bit more inside. Alright, now I'm going to hit the back, do my figure 4 stretch. Okay, I'll show you from the side view first. Okay. We're going to do figure 4. Now I feel this, when I do this move, glute area. It's actually a good one for your piriformis too. So but I obviously, like the big muscle area, feel it, glute, kind of stretch it around a little bit into the hamstring. I'm really just pulling this shin towards my chest with this leg, alright? I'm going to do some ankle rolls here, and it's not necessarily kind of specific to lower back tightness, but ankle rolls are always good there too. I'm holding this for kind of a predetermined amount of time, right now about 20-30 seconds. When I do this, I'm also externally rotating my hip, my right hip, alright? So my right hip's an external rotation in this position. Now, I'm going to do an internal rotation on this side by putting this leg down, using this foot to push that knee down towards the ground. I really try to focus on my shoulder blades flat too. This foot is pushing, so now I feel the internal rotation stretch right here. Alright, so you can see there's a little gap right there, that lower back, it's off the ground. So you could probably, and I definitely feel the stretch, but it's not like what's the way to describe it? It's not like an intense stretch, per se, but you can probably almost so much force you can put down with this foot. Switch sides. Show you from a little angle change. This side. You can tell. You might be able to tell. This is a little more challenging on this side for me. So my external hip rotation on this side is not nearly as much. I don't have as much range of motion as the opposite side. I'm going to go back and it'll starting one point about internal hip rotation. That's side back. Really focus on keeping your back down when you do this. Right? A lot of people will start like this, and I know it's a flexibility thing, but try to work where you're kind of relaxing your head. Alright? And then fall to the side. So, like I said, there's only so much force you can really do with this foot on top of the knee. So I feel a good stretch, for sure. I think my internal rotation on this side is lacking. Opposed to the other side. But if you really, I'll show you a little 90-90 movement before we finish. I'll show you how to really, if you want to intensify the internal external hip rotation stretch, which is good, it can definitely affect or help, I would say, contribute to alleviating lower back pain and tightness. I'd recommend that. Alright, another one I like to recommend for lower back is the open book. Very different. There's kind of a variety of ways you can do this movement. So thoracic spine, similar to the reach that we did. But I'm going to isolate my hips this time. So now my hips, I'm going to lock it to the ground. And I'm going to open and exhale. Bring it all the way down. I'll change the angle for the other arm. But what you may not be able, you probably won't be able to see is I'm really trying to put my shoulder blade, my right shoulder blade on the ground back here. This is where I really can stretch that fascia that kind of covers the top of my muscles, right? And you'll feel a good stretch too. When you feel it, your upper back does the movement, but then you feel kind of a stretch down to your lower back. Okay? So it's really kind of stretching the slim fascia that comes from here and wraps around in diagonal lines across your body. Alright, change your angle. See from the other side. You will notice, you should be able to notice, that I won't have as much range of motion doing this point. Alright, still in the camera view. Good. Yeah, I can't. By the last rep, I might be able to, but maybe if I get a couple breaths out, I can get my hand down. This is more challenging for sure. So like I said, it's a big inhale, big exhale. Absolutely. I'm holding my knee down, and my arm and shoulder the other way. You can even just open this up and hang out in this position. With that movement, you might see some of our videos online. I'll have a kettlebell over here and hold this down, essentially. Have it weighted down. One more. Alright, now 2 more moves for you. I'm going to show you the frog next. Once again, another kind of very, kind of a go-to adductor. How we do it. Adductor stretch, right? So we're here, toes out at an angle, on my elbows, using my forearms to push my butt back, and I feel it inside both adductors. So unlike the adductor locker that I was doing, when it's kind of mainly one side, this is both sides, and I'm really kind of using a lot of my weight to push down. So this is a very intense stretch. So I'm just going to hold this for about 20 more seconds. And like I said, these moves, multiple, I mean, going through one round is great. We're only going to do one round a day, but I would suggest going through multiple rounds, you know? If you get, and obviously it kind of depends on how much time you have, you know? Especially if something, chronic back, tension and pain, tightness, is something that you deal with, I'd say this is a great sequence to do every day. Or at least, you know, some components of it every day. You have to do the supplemental stuff. I know people want to exercise and strength training. That's great. You want to do the cardio. That's very important too. Super important. But you also have to do this stuff, the stretching and mobility. It's necessary. Okay? They talk about, I've heard, and it wasn't me, but Coach Sean kind of had the comparison or heard the comparison. It's like flossing, right? Very few people like the floss. But Dennis tells you to do it because of how important it is, right? How important to your health it is, or your dental health. Stretching and mobility is like the flossing, because it's so important for the joints and muscles flexible and joints mobile. Alright, so this is the 90-90. This is where we're going to kind of intensify that internal and external hip rotation stretching. So I'm sitting like this. When I sit like this, I'm already in external rotation, internal rotation. You might feel this, you try this. Without your hands, a little challenge, I feel a pinch right here in my side, right? So I'm going to kind of crank up the external rotation, like I did for that feet before, by blocking this foot up, right? So when I do that, this is externally rotating more. I'm trying to increase the range of external rotation. I'm going to sit here, and I'm going to rock forward. So very similar to the figure 4 stretch. But now I'm using more of my weight instead of pulling it towards me like I did on that figure 4. I'm driving my belly button forward. So I got way more force onto this. So definitely more of an intense version. This is a more intense version of that stretch. Wow. I really feel this one stretch into that lower back right there. A few more seconds. Alright, so before, I'm going to do the other leg too, but since I'm already in this position, I'm going to do my internal by blocking up this hip, right, or this ankle, excuse me. Okay, so I'm just going to move real quick. So, here, this might be too high for me. I might need to give myself too much credit. Right? My foot, knees down, trying to push myself up as tall as I can on this side. Ooh, yeah. This might be too high. Too high. Take it one block down. Alright. Stay nice and tall on this one. So you're almost trying to push back this time. Instead of leaning forward, I'm pushing myself nice and tall on this side. And it's interesting. Like I said, I'm like in between. I need like a smaller block kind of thing. Interesting. If I'm going to go a little higher, but I feel much more here than when I did that internal hip rotation stretch laying down. Coming back. Is a go-to one, I think. If you can do this, if you're capable of doing this, this is something that I think would be great if you feel it. Going back, tightness and tension. Alright, let's switch it up. Alright, we go here first. Get these guys over here. Okay. Alright, last one for the day, okay? I always try to find a nice straight line for this right here. Alright? Go. Okay. Chest forward. Feels good. Keep this here now. Get my shoulder blades together, try a neutral spine. Right? This is the stuff that's going to pay off down the line. I wouldn't, like I said, I understand, I mean, not that strength training. Strength training, you got to do it forever. It's just, there'll be different versions of it, of course. Resistance training, you got to do it forever. Cardio training, you got to do it forever. And obviously it's going to modify, it's going to evolve as you get older. But you have to do it, and this has to be included. Right? This is a part of health and fitness. Oh, I don't know. What's wrong with me? Did I get a long foot? Guys, come on, man. You guys gotta tell me. You get down these soliloquies and you're not changing legs. Yeah, this is much more challenging. I was like, did I do that already? I did. Sorry, folks. Alright, there we go. Oh, yeah. Definitely a difference. Yeah, this is external on the left hip. Yep, and that makes sense. Because when I do my finger pull on this side, it's definitely lagging. Sorry, so, not, like I say, you're going to be doing strength training, cardio training, and stretch mobility. It's got to be part of your regimen. Forever, like I said. It's going to evolve in the variation and the versions of it, but it has to be part of your regimen. It has to. It's just that I don't think anybody wants to be, incapable as they get older, right? I mean, everybody wants to be capable, and I know I'm putting kind of broad terms on it, but you don't want to, and things happen, and obviously, you can't prevent everything, but being flexible and mobile, you can work on it, right? There's things you can do now that will hopefully help you 30 years down the road. So, and this is included in that. So, it's boring, right? But hey, there's a lot of stuff you can do. You can do this while watching TV, right? So, you can entertain yourself and still do some beneficial things to your body. So, why not do it? A couple more seconds. I could probably go a little higher, but I definitely do it. 3, 2, 1, done. Alright, folks. Hopefully that was beneficial. If you didn't check it out, it'll be on our feed for the next week, and then it goes to our YouTube channel. So if you if you don't subscribe to our YouTube channel, how dare you? First, go ahead and do that. All the past live workouts are up there. We're almost a full year in. We're getting close. That was one of my goals this year, to do a live workout every week. Besides the week I'm out of town, I've been doing it. So check out that archive, and I will see you next week.